Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Colin present. Magali Rubio, present.
Bill Martinez.
Francesca Ortega.
And Rudy Blanco, present. That's pretty much it. And excuse absence for Edwin.
Edwin, Julie, and four.
And Daniel, I have no idea. I have not heard from him or anything else from him, so we'll see what happens. You know.
Hold on until it comes, whatever. It's your meeting.
Okay. Order of business, does anybody have any deletions, additions, anything they want changed? Anything that they want, you know, anything else? We'll get to public comment now, we'll get to public comment.
Okay.
And,
I had requested
Yeah, go ahead.
an addition, but I guess I didn't make it in on the, under the wire.
what was it, vice
To
chairman?
discuss the, I guess what's the word? What was the word I used on them? Each person is an asset here. So to be able to capitalize on each person's positive endeavors. Yeah. And hold people accountable to doing that. I think we're in a crucial moment right now,
Yes,
and we need to redirect.
For BAD member utilization.
What was it?
BAD member utilization.
Member utilization, that was the word I was trying to think of.
did we add that or not? We could do it in open discussion, though.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll do it in open discussion. I didn't get that. Did you get that? Was it?
No,
me?
I had sent it.
No, because the agenda was already.
I did, it was already published.
Oh.
Okay, okay. But we could bring it up in open discussion. Perfect. Oh, yeah. And have like a little thing. For the open discussion. What do we do next? What's next?
All right, we'll exercise.
Now, some ideas,
Anything else?
and it will be good.
I wanna add something.
Anyway,
I don't know if it's pertinent to open discussion later, but just in case. I think at the beginning of the meetings, we should start like implementing kind of like a round robin where we catch each other up and recap on the efforts we've been working on. I know that we unofficially touch on different subjects through the topics that are listed on the agenda itself. But sometimes people do things outside of that, and it would be good to hear, you know, if they're working on a specific project or talking to a specific individual, resident, or whatever the case may be.
I think that's good as an open discussion. I think that we could have that in that moment, where you invite everybody. Has a particular, we get rid of the business at hand, you know, the home stuff, the office stuff, and then we go into a discussion as long as, you know, we time permits. For each one, and maybe everybody has different ideas, part of that utilization that Miguel was talking about. And I think my Holly may have an idea, Esther may have an idea, and Gail may have an idea. I think it's fine. I think it should be part of open discussion. I don't know if everybody agrees or everybody thinks it should be a separate item.
I think it'll be its own item.
I don't know, or its own item,
Its own item.
or its own item, maybe under old business or new business,
I mean, it's pertinent to old business because if it's,
right, before open discussion. Yeah.
I mean, it's not intended to be a long-winded thing, just like, hey, you know, what have you been up to? What have I been up to? Like that, like really quick, just to
It might be part of new business,
keep everyone up to date.
it might be part of new business. So we take that in mind.
The other thing I'd like to point out, I'm a little dismayed, I guess is the lack of a better word. The town just voted on, I think, the biggest item that they, in history of the town. And by far the biggest for the BAB by a long shot. And there's no mention of it, anything to do with it in the agenda.
I was gonna go into again in the open discussion part again too, because I think that deserves a while
Yeah, no,
to
absolutely,
discuss.
absolutely. I think,
So I think, you know, that doesn't make this a separate item, maybe from now on. We could have it as a separate item. And updates on town's actions, you know, and so forth. But I had to be for the open discussion.
well,
And
that,
I forgot to put it in.
I think it's for what directives we should be doing to push this, because.
And I had that for open discussion. Absolutely. What strategies, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go? Who do we have to talk to? what organizations we have to touch, and I have a pretty good idea of exactly who we have to go to and how do we support this, who's gonna support us, who's not, what representatives, what commissioners. We have to talk, talk to what organizations, what chambers of commerce,
Yeah.
all that. But that's a long-winded, discussion, I think. And so, yeah, maybe from now on, it should be part of our, towns. Side or towns, objectives, strategy. As to what we do. I don't know if Steve is on, but, I think that should be part of that. And I'm ready to put it because I wanted to have it as a discussion.
It's called strategy.
I'd like to note that we need to follow the committee rules, regulations, and procedures, and we're not to make our own rules. I also want to make sure we follow the Robert Rules of Order. I know we attended the meeting. Also, I attended via Zoom. I'd like to make a motion to add it to open discussion, to adherence to committee rules, regulations, procedures, and Robert's Rules of Order. And I want to add that the chair needs to be cognizant of these rules being applied.
That's fine. I think everybody should put,
I'll
yeah,
second.
me definitely in there. Yeah, so
Um,
everybody in favor?
With that being said, I didn't see a motion for A, B, and C. I'm the only one that made a motion, so you want me to say what you said?
Well, it's agendas, additions and deletions.
It's in the
Yeah.
order of business, right?
Here, I will say for agendas, I don't know that open discussion is, I mean, you guys can always add stuff to the agenda as it is. But I'm only mentioning it for people that are maybe not you guys and people from the public. We are publishing these agendas and the point is to be as transparent as possible. So if there's a topic you're gonna talk about, it should just be explicitly listed rather than waiting till we get to open discussion. If at least,
That's not-
if you guys know that you're gonna talk
Well,
about.
that's why I think what's happening is we're developing a somewhat of a standardized agenda that will encompass what we're doing. And once I think we're at that point, I think we can put a motion then to do so. So,
I'd like to make a motion that, we have a monthly item through the chair, for the chair to update us on any litigation that is not within the shade session. You all know that there are closed sessions, there are shades. We are not part of that shade because we are not part of the elected officials. And I confirm that.
I second
I is all in favor?
that. All in favor? Aye.
I'd like to make sure that under old business, we have committee member utilization as a standard item.
that's fine.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion that we have committee involvement, discussion report, under old business,
I second.
under every agenda. Second by Francesca, all in favor?
Aye.
So I just discussed all 4 items that we've discussed and we put it in proper posture and we'll list them under old business. item.
On our business, okay, great. With headings and everything else, okay.
And as a chair, you are responsible to make sure your litigation is within proper posture.
Right. So that we get an update and everything else. Is there anything else in order of business?
No, so item number 4.
Number 4. Public comments, anybody from the public?
Online.
Or-
Just so you guys know,
Or online?
I don't see anybody online, we can try it after we go through the live ones if you guys want, but as of right now, nothing has changed in terms of us reopening public comments at the very end. I'm still waiting on getting direction from, I have to see if that's gonna be something we're gonna be able to.
The public comments, tu nombre, por favor,
Okay, my name is Camilo,
Address.
Camilo Martinez Crespo. I live here in Miami Lakes, 90th Avenue, 13523 Northwest. My floor is in bad shape, because of the closure of that company. And I brought some picture here if you want to see, or if you want to send an inspector or something. I heard that there is a demand in fruits. I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody told me. And somebody told me today here, I called, the personal advisor to come here and to tell you the problem. And I have a picture of the floor, like the kitchen, the living room, the washroom, how the floor is, because of those explosions, that company, construction company, something. I don't know if you can do something or because, I cannot do by myself everything. No money, not anything, and cannot have a lawyer or something. So it's always like here, probably I could get out.
What is your address, Mr. Crespo?
13523 90 Avenue,
19?
90.
Ninety.
Ninety.
Way northwest? Ninety.
Northwest,
Okay, I wasn't sure. Where's that?
Miami Lakes, 3301.
Any other comments on?
If you
I'll
want
answer.
to look at my picture or you want to send an inspector or something to my
Sure.
house.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm going to share my contact info with you,
Oh.
so that way, I'll swing by and I'll take pictures.
Oh, that's perfect, that's perfect.
Can you repeat the name for me? Sorry.
Camilo.
Camilo Crespo.
Martínez.
Martinez Crespo.
The only Martinez is like,
Not the only one, right?
Miguel Martinez.
Okay, so then maybe we are family. Somebody told me that there is only one Martinez family in Spain. And all Martinez in America came from the family.
Yeah, that's where my family's from.
In the same neighborhood.
Ninety, no, Lincoln.
My phone number's there, just write me a message, we'll coordinate that.
Okay, do you have any comments on Mr. Martinez, situation or anything else?
I'd like to provide, just so you're aware, because there's a lot of misinformation that is brewing. Town had voted in the last council meeting to engage in a lawsuit to the state.
I hear about that as well.
Right. It is that right now, as the law exists, nobody can sue the minors. They're protected. You cannot go to court. You can only go to the DOA process, which is the mediation hearing. The mediation hearing, the process, you will not comply with the requirements that they require to enter a mediation. So you will lose. How it exists.
Sorry
right now.
about you, big chat, very.
No, I understand.
So this is how, what they've done, and it's a genius. I mean, I give them credit. It's genius what they did. However, it's unconstitutional. And that is, to remove that law is what the town is gonna sue the state. It is expected, or we're praying that that the town is successful and that law is removed.
Okay.
Once the law is removed, then everybody's,
go ahead.
yeah, you go ahead. So just recognize and realize, because people think, oh, I want to get paid. I want part of that
No, I
lawsuit.
Excuse me, excuse me,
And it's not
I'm
the
asking
case.
to be excused because we're not following the protocol.
in what sense?
Public.
What is
comment
your,
does
what is
not-
your issue? What is your
public-
issue?
Robert Rules of Orders does not allow for, public comments back and forth.
There was no
If
other,
that's the
I-
way,
I-
if that's
I-
the way you wanna run it, it's
No,
okay.
it's
I'm just
not,
asking
it's
to
not
be-
that I want to run it.
I'm just asking to be excused, Jerry.
You could be excused.
Thank you.
It could be excused. I'll take notes from now on.
Through the
Go
chair,
ahead,
it
Mr.
does,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your conversation, but it does need to be somebody else other than the chair to take. Because you're not supposed
Oh,
to.
that's what I
hold
thought.
talks.
No, so I said they're going to take notes, so my lad is going to take notes. That doesn't- No
Sorry.
problem. I would love to take notes, but if I can't take it, I can't take it.
so there was no other comments, though.
No,
That's what I was replying.
That's all that I was, just giving him a chance for him to speak.
Right.
Which I think is very important.
yeah, it's very important.
It's very important.
That's for myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So just understand what the lawsuit means, and what,
I got the clue, that is, and could be, not here or here. But at least there is some hope.
yes, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, that's all.
Perfect.
Thank you for sharing that. We don't have a lot of Miami Lakes residents that come to our meetings, so we really appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Anybody else? Adele Labor is here for public comments. Thank you for coming, Adele.
Well, I hate blasting. I think there's not a person that knows who I am. It's like, I built my house and, I started in 99, it was finished in 2000. And just a week of moving in, felt the first blasting. Back then, I didn't know what it was. So I called my husband, I go, the house just shake. My husband is an underground utility engineer and he used to work for Mastec, so he's familiar with blasting. So he goes, impossible. We look around Miramar, Pembroke Pines,
Right.
Miami Lakes for the best location to have family. So we are not on a blasting zone. So which means that when we buy, me as many others, we are not advised whatsoever that we are in a blasting zone. White Rock has come to my house. All Tallahassee has come to the house. So they keep saying we were here first. Okay, you have the right to do your business, but you don't have the right to destroy my house. So it's like, I really thank you all because without you guys, this step it wouldn't been possible. It's a lot of people say, oh, they're not doing anything. They don't know. You guys have been doing a lot. You guys have been knocking a lot of doors. So honestly, I thank you all for that. And I'm looking forward for the best. No more blasting.
For the record, I don't, what is your address?
Out.
What is your address?
My address
Yes.
is 7771 Northwest 160th Terrace, Miami Lake, Florida, 33016. And as per all the engineers, my area, it goes all the way, it goes to my area. I'm the lucky one. Because in my neighbor, where my house is located, the wave gets stronger. My front neighbors, they don't have as much damages that I have. The engineer, the architect, the whole group of people that want my house, the entire structure is shifted to the left, on ground. My house is like this. That's why my kitchen cabinet were falling out, my ceiling was out, my ceiling popped out, my tiles were all like popcorn. My backyard, it was disaster. My pool that is in the picture cracked from the 3 feet to the 6 feet completely. My house is. So I'm fed up with the blasting. I have gone to ER 3-4 times, thinking I was having a heart attack, and I just find out it was panic attack. So it's been bad because you dream like that you think that your house is gonna collapse. You have children, you have family. It's like they don't understand that, but up to the point that we all fed up with that. So I thank you all for everything that you guys have been doing.
Thank you.
No more blasting.
Thank you for sharing.
Any other question for anything else, any details? Next. The gentleman.
Okay, my name's Jose Mateo. I live at 8162 Northwest 198th Street,
Sorry, can you say that again? 81?
8162 Northwest 198th Street. Hialeah. Unincorporated Dade. But I too am a victim of a blasting, I believe. I have a crack that has surfaced on my house from the top of the eave on the outside. That's starting to go on a 45-degree angle towards the floor. And the crack is big enough where I can feel my air conditioning leaking out of the crack on the outside of my house. So I found out about the meeting that you guys had with the board last week. I came to that meeting. And then I found out that all that was approved. And so I'm here to pretty much just stay in contact with you guys to see where this goes. I'd like to fix my house. I'm kind of holding off on fixing it, although I want to fix it and kind of put my house in order again. It needs it, but I'm holding off to see where this all goes, to see if there's any kind of, anything we can do, anything I can do. Okay, I've been told that I need to put some levels, like some leveling, things on the bottom of my house to level my house out to prevent it from sinking in the back, right? And, I got several quotes ranging from like $27,000 to $47,000 to fix just one crack in my house. And, before I go and dish out this money and fix it, right? And then watch me still have a crack afterwards, I'll be so mad. But, you know, I wanna make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So, right now I'm just here, my ears are here, my eyes are here. So, that's why I'm here.
Thank you for coming. No, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mateo?
Whenever we spoke at the council meeting, do you feel your floor is at an angle, sloped?
I know that when the people came in to the foundation, I've had 3 different foundation companies come out. And they all bring equipment, and it shows that the back of my house is off by like an inch in the rear. As opposed to like from the middle of the house, that's where they put their measuring device. So yeah, so there's somewhat of a slope back there.
Might be a good,
Yes.
good property to.
Mhm.
The testimony was absolute. Absolutely. And give your contact information, contact Diane.
You did,
Oh.
you did on those.
He came to the council meeting, so we had already shared code.
Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you all for coming. Any other public comments?
Yeah, do.
I'm sure.
Oh, well, once you're done here, I just want to let you know somebody's on the phone.
Oh, somebody's on the, oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Do you want to do that?
Sure, sure.
They do need to unmute themselves. I can't do it for them.
Esperanza Reynolds, 8465 Menzies Terrace.
Hi, Esperanza.
How are you? I
Hi.
am not sure if you understand, but I do not have Zoom and I call on the cell phone. And what happens when I call is that it puts me into this continual music and it says that I cannot do anything until the host approves. And I was just, I keep on just trying to do things to see when I'll be able to speak. And then all of a sudden right now, it just simply said that I was able to say something. And so it's a very awkward, way to work. And that is why the last time I was having such difficulty that it took forever for me to be able to connect. But thank you for listening. And I really do not have anything else to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Esperanza. Anybody else? Relisita, anything else?
Hoping that next year we can keep pushing with this,
Yeah.
new effort and see what happens.
Okay, seeing nothing else, seeing nobody else, public comments are closed. Next item, adoption of the minutes, everybody's read the minutes. Anything else in the book is correct, and it's either already. Is there a motion to approve? Take a minute.
I'll put a motion, I'll move forward and approve minutes.
A second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You have a question?
I did.
So the
Oh,
motion,
okay.
minutes, to approve. Minutes from mayor. Approved.
Sorry. Motion to add something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not used to this. motion.
See somebody walking in right here. They started.
And adopted the minutes, we'll move on to old business. Old business, we had an awareness campaign, I think it's one of the key things also, probably now more than ever. Of making everybody aware of what's going on, what the city, the town wants to do. So now. is when there's really gonna be more awareness. Now, we know there's blasts. And we know that, but now I really think that the town has gone out of its way to very possibly sue the state, you know, and so forth. I think now it's very important that we get as much support and as much effort, you know, from everybody that we can. And that we know of, whether it's in our community, outside of our community, organizations and everything else. So I asked, we're gonna open it for discussion on what we should do, what do you think we should do, if you have an opinion, if you have a suggestion. Because I know that we've had a marketing, I know we have our website, I know we have printed material, I know we have flyers, I know we have a barrage of different things. And I think we do adapt it, of course, to now the new situation that's at hand. So I think that's important, and we need that awareness, there's no doubt. And I think as part of all this, and that's a good question, and I know Magali brought it up last time. The complaints, because I know the now probably want everyone to trace and see how many blasts there are. For instance, I saw that some people had 4 or 5 blasts today. I had none. I don't know what happened. Is it in areas? Are they stopping? Is it changing? I don't know. But I think that has to be also tracked. So I think that's very important to keep in mind, that we still need to, you know, talk about it. But Magali brought up a great point, and I want to find out myself if reporting these or claiming these or complaining about these in the forms that we have with the state, does it or not raise the insurance on people, or does it cause an issue or not? I don't even know how many complaints, so I'll find out when I go take out my insurance, you know, and find out what happens. You know, is it
That
reported?
is gonna come out because it's public record.
It's public records.
Whether
It
you
is.
collect or not, it's a claim. And those could be denials of issue from an insurance company.
Very interesting. So that's what I wanna,
Well, right now, blasting damage is an exclusion on insurance policies, on most insurance, at least it is in PSN, I can tell you.
and that's what we have blasted
It-
for.
It's an exclusion. If somebody, I called and I say, hey, you know, my driveway is cracked, I want you to repair it, they're gonna say, no, that's a part of your policy exclusion. I only know because before I got involved in blasting, I contacted my insurance
Yeah.
company thinking I could get,
Those companies have a cap on the amount of money that they will reimburse the homeowner. Not all companies, everybody has their own librito.
Right, everybody.
So-
has
But depends on the type of claim as well.
Exactly.
so I didn't understand the request then. So then it's that we're gonna work on, see.
We're trying to find out if it does affect our insurance, our homeowners insurance
Okay.
policies. When we go to renew or we go to take out insurance,
Okay,
maybe it's a new home buyer who's buying in here and needs insurance. Does that affect, you know, if the house has had claims or these complaints with the state, do those come out? Do they check that? I've heard
so
a
you're
variety of
checking
things.
with insurance companies or you're checking the
With my insurance company,
see if the
with my
state
insurance company,
communicates.
Right. and
Okay,
that's the other,
gotcha.
does that.
Well, I suggest everybody
Both.
read their own policy.
And read their own
What-
policy, I was gonna
what
say
yours
that,
covers or
everybody
doesn't
talk
cover.
to your.
The, to what I've been advised, thus far. Seismic, if you have seismic damage, a claim, it will be denied. Because seismic is not a covered entity or item in the state of Florida. If you have any type of claim, any type of damage, it always works against you.
Mhm.
On your policy. It's worse off, I believe, and this, now I'm speaking out of turn, is if you have a claim and you didn't repair it. So I had a claim, as an example, my roof and my plumbing was damaged, which I repaired them both. With receipt, permits and all. But there are damages, like seismic damage is not repairable to the full extent. So if that's the case, what will happen then moving forward? So that comes into question.
That's what I want her to find out. That's exactly what I'm trying to
Well,
find
that's
out.
where things get interesting.
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. What happens.
That's a good topic to research and get more educated on, for sure.
Yes.
All right, so I guess we'll put a motion then for Rudy's gonna be investigating the
Investigating the
insurance.
insurance.
issue as far as seismic activity. What's covered and what's not.
Somebody second? Yeah, I'm got it, okay. Perfect. Anybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Going back to your awareness campaign. I'll address now to Francesca, Francesca, since you're more of a marketing person that's done a lot of that. Is there any suggestions, or I think we should tweak our presentations? And who should be hit? I think homeowners, for instance, should be affected, homeowners associations, everybody we've been before.
I
I think
think
should be
this,
part of it.
this was touched, like a lot of my recommendations were touched at our previous meeting. But to piggyback on those points and to update everyone on what I've been working on, at least since our last meeting. Is that, I visited 3 homeowners in total since the council meeting, not since our lasting meeting. Because I feel like the community engagement has increased substantially since that council meeting last week. As we can
Yes.
see, we have more people than ever showing up. So, I did on my own launch a campaign to amplify the message of last week's committee meeting, which led to several people showing up, several residents showing up, and that's how we made certain connections, like with this homeowner here, right? So, that was the campaign previous to our council meeting. Then we had the council meeting, had the unanimous vote. So now I've had 3 people reach out to me. I've already gone to 3 homes to take pictures and video. I'm just gonna show really quick some of the damages that I took snapshots of, so you can see like the tiles are being raised. Well, the videos might take a second to load, but you know, this was at one particular property that I went to. The other property was this one in Hialeah Gardens. This is the first time that we have a Hialeah Gardens resident reach out to us and we can successfully, you know, take pictures and video of their damage. Yeah, this is probably the worst I've ever seen. I have to upload it all into a Google Drive and then I'll share it with Isle so that we can all see it. It's an infinite amount of pictures and video that I can utilize for potential campaigns. I also think we need to work on updating our marketing material in general. So, you know, we have several flyers that depict generic messaging. Like, this is the last thing I'm gonna show because I thought it was crazy. The pool is literally like coming out of the deck. It looks very similar to your house. But you know, your house is in Miami Lakes, and this house is in Hialeah Gardens. So I love the fact that it's 2 completely different areas, illustrating the same type of damage to the same extent of damage, right? So I have that. I think our collateral needs to be updated so that the call to action includes the new developments of the town potentially suing, because you know, our call to action was always very generic and very soft. File a complaint, get involved, come to the meetings. But now there's more options of how people can get involved and interact and be an asset to us. So,
I'd like to share for the members of the public that are new here. I don't know if you guys have seen my past presentations that I've done previously. I apologize.
No.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
One of the things that Francesca's showing there is swimming pools. Swimming pools, when they're empty, they come out of the ground because the static pressure of the underground water pushes the pool out of the ground. The problem that we're seeing is a process called liquefaction. Now, liquefaction happens in water saturated soils and energy is introduced. However, we don't have true soil saturated soil, like let's say sandy water at the beach. So talking with several scientists, turns out we are making a scientific discovery in what's happening in our area. We're still, for lack of a better word, we'll call it liquefaction, this method. There'll be a new thing that comes out of this. That's how intense what we're dealing with is. Now, on a swimming pool, the swimming pool is not empty. That was full of water. So there's really should be no reason theoretically that a pool comes out of the ground. The reason it comes out of the ground, it rises, is because of the introduction of energy. It's the same principle as the liquefaction. Now, as I've explained it to other people, the liquefaction happens you could jump down a staircase, you could jump them all, go to the bottom, or you go one step at a time. The issue with liquefaction is it's jumping all the stairs. All your energy happens at once. That is by definition what liquefaction is. However, what is the difference in the amount of energy expelled if you take one step at a time, which is what we're seeing. So that is by definition, liquefaction doesn't comply. This is what the scientists are going to be going at, just so you can understand what is happening and what we're seeing, what we're witnessing. Big difference.
Francesca, anything else on the interviews?
So these videos and photos are examples of what I'd be doing in your home. I'd be going and I'd be capturing that so that then we could use it in our campaigns. When I take pictures and videos of your homes, I do not put your address on it. Okay, so it's considered anonymous. Obviously, here in a public meeting, you have to state your name, your address, because it's a public meeting. But when we use your content, photos and video for marketing purposes, we're not gonna put a big red arrow on top of your property so that, you know, it can cause unnecessary attention, okay? So don't be afraid to call me. So, you know, in addition to updating our marketing to reflect some of these new images, I think we need to do much more community engagement work. I think a little bit goes a long way because I found out, I want to say a week before when the agenda was posted online that our blasting item was going to be on the town council meeting. From that day forward, I kind of started, you know, sharing it with friends and family, posting it on social media. And I also shared it with some of the council members' pages. And I feel like we had the most successful turnout we'd had in a while. Even the workshop, it generated a lot of people, but I don't think it generated as many residents that were willing to, you know, complain and even continue to be involved, not just show up to one meeting and then stop, right? Because the idea is that the involvement continues. So, I made recommendations and I kind of touched on an update on the different things I personally have worked on since our last meeting. I don't know if you have any more questions on the topic, but I want to make sure we stay on task.
No. We're fine with that. Anything else? Howdy, no.
Well, as far as awareness, I guess we're straddling new business and old business, correct?
Yes,
As far as
that's why I added a little bit of discussion, right?
it's old business for me. I work, some of you guys know or aware of, I work with a team of engineers. And we have been recording and monitoring the blasts.
Yep.
Aside from the Miami-Dade pilot program from the state, this is done privately. Yesterday, I received an email of a preliminary synopsis of month to month of total blast recorded. And just so we're aware of, I want to read you really quick the numbers because I think that they're very telling. This past February, there was a total of 88 blasts, of which White Rock had 44 of those. CMX had 1. In March, there were 77 total blasts. White Rock had 44 of those. April, there were 95 blasts. White Rock had 57. In May, there were 98 blasts recorded. White Rock had 63 of those. So people ask why White Rock? Oh, that's why. There you have it. These numbers are going to get full analysis and all that. That hasn't happened yet, but I wanted to share with you just the stats of the amount of blasts that we're experiencing.
Because I don't know that White Rock had that many of them.
So we have seismographs in different areas. Each seismograph doesn't record the direction where it came from. It records an intensity, and they can calculate the speed of which is the energy wave travels. So depending on the intensity, if we have a series of if you have a series of points and you have each point is recording an energy wave, you can plot them out. And where they intersect is the source of the blast. So that is how they're noting this, the intersection of these blasts, where is the location of it? So, and then they can identify this location as the White Rock Quarry or CMX Quarry or whatever quarry.
Are all those quarries located in the same location? Like, I noticed, for example, from where I live, west of 75 is where you see the big crane, and that big crane is going 24/7.
That's White Rock.
That's White Rock,
Yeah.
yeah. So now the other quarries are located somewhere else.
CMAX, if you take the turnpike south,
Yeah,
to 27
Right.
and get up in 27, you'll see that there quarry.
Yeah.
okay.
So, and there's 5 companies in operation in Dade County.
Send me over here.
The seismographs that these engineers are running actually record earthquakes from around the world. They're very sensitive. They also report volcanic, something of interesting, when you have what do they call this? It's a release of energy that they have in the air, it actually goes around the earth. And the machine picks it up twice, when it expels and when it comes around again. And it's the distance, speed wise, of the radius of the earth. It's pretty low.
Crazy.
So that's how we know.
Beyond my pay grade, but
Yeah,
I'm involved with them, obviously, but I'm the low man on the totem pole with them.
it's just, that's gonna be one of the first questions they ask, is how do you know it's White Rock? You know?
Right.
That's an easy
But
question.
also
to
the
answer.
other one, is only, really the other one's blatantly right in front of us,
Doing,
affecting everybody, Miramar, us,
yeah.
and Palm Springs North, Doral even, you know.
All this motion is gonna include just the area of, Miami Lakes, PSN,
It's a state,
Hialeah, or it's gonna
The whole
include
state.
That's the state.
Miramar?
That's all.
it's a state law.
It's a whole-
It's a state,
Oh, okay.
as far as that.
Now, another item for awareness, I post regularly, whether you guys know or not, I think you guys know. We have a group on Facebook and I
Plastic
post
victims.
on Nextdoor.
Next door.
Nextdoor gives me statistics. And I posted the vote that happened here. And I have never, in the history of me working on Nextdoor, has seen the statistics that has generated over 9,000 individual views of that post of the vote. So that's astronomical.
It's incredible, the audience,
Once people start finding out, like if this goes through
right,
and you're allowed to sue and you get some sort of reward, some sort of
and
compensation,
relief, yeah.
you're gonna have an enormous amount of people
Yeah.
come out of the
Yeah,
woodwork
come on over.
trying to get whatever they
Oh,
can
the
get.
attorneys are
That's
gonna
why I
pay.
asked.
Yes, exactly.
But what people
was
don't
the people
realize
for my
is-
question.
Imagine how much faster and how much more effective we could have been had those people showed up since day one.
Oh.
Because when the conversation about money starts becoming more loud, it's easier for people to show up and want to, so I mean, it's neither here nor there. I'm more than happy and we have an open door policy for everybody that comes in, but speaking up now is just as important as speaking up later when money may or may not be on the table. Right now, that's really not a topic for us to discuss. We are affecting change within the community to raise engagement and awareness so people complain more, and then it's easier for those elected officials to get the point across and get things in motion,
They wanna be the squeaky wheel
Yeah.
with very loud squeaks, very loud squeaks.
Mhm.
Anything else for awareness campaign, anything else?
Hey, I just want to add one more thing. I think everybody has brought up different ideas in their own way, like Miguel uses Nextdoor and Facebook. I'm not as active on those platforms. I do more Instagram. How can we take this awareness campaign, almost think of it as like a group project, right? He's encompassing certain online areas. I'm encompassing certain online areas. But if another person can take charge of maybe like I don't know, I don't come to the town very often, but another member that's more involved in town business. I know you guys sit on the Chamber of Commerce and like involve businesses on that end. Obviously, once we update the collateral, it'll be better because you guys have something to present. But I think that will cover larger bases. So maybe, I'm not aware of all the events that are happening, right? But if somebody's already attending an event, let us know and then we can prepare something for that specific event or just recycle old stuff, doesn't matter.
I think Isle's the best suited for that. We used to get, once upon a time, I think it was before your time, long before your time, just notification for the different events that are happening, committee wise, so that we can participate and share, in that. You could
It's
send
in the
us.
paper.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
all I can think of is
In the
like,
Lakers.
we make sure to publicize all our events, so really. It kind of goes back to you guys, if you guys wanna go on the
Right.
website and add it to your calendar, you can. If it comes to our social media, you guys are obviously welcome to reshare, repost. If for any reason you can't, let me know and I'll share the graphic with you,
Right.
but if you want it
Like a summary though.
But if you want it straight to your inbox, what I would suggest is you guys subscribe to our newsletter, because our newsletter is a monthly, like what
I
happening.
have it.
The community calendar in here.
And
It's
also have the
it's-
committee.
It's also a calendar for the committee.
Just to clarify
But
something,
not everybody
I
gets
don't-
it.
I didn't mean for us to get more event notifications. I meant if you're already attending, like you know that on XYZ day, you're already going to the chamber meeting. You know, most of us work full time. It's hard to juggle everything at once. So if you're already networking in this event and you wanna add a little blasting in there, that's super helpful because you're already there. Now, now, if you're planning to attend additional things, even better. But I meant in our usual day-to-day lives with what we.
Okay, Miami Chamber of Commerce has a meeting. It's a luncheon meeting every second Tuesday, Wednesday of the month.
Are you still in there?
Huh?
Are you still involved?
I'm still involved. I'm not president or vice president anymore, but I'm still involved. Yeah.
Every
second.
second.
Every second
Wednesday of the
So,
month.
so the next meeting is May 9th. It'll be a very good round
May
table.
9th, don't-
No, on July
July.
9th, July 9th. Be a very good executive round table. I think we'll be going to that.
Okay, I mean, if there's something, if there's like a screen to share like a video, maybe I could put something together.
Up front, we could put flyers. We could put
You can put
everything.
flyers and you can be their tables, up front. Before we come in the luncheon that you can talk to people there.
And now,
Okay,
You
I
can
would add
register
that
for the
point.
luncheon also.
I was not just
And
a
I think
strategy
the-
later on, but anyway,
well,
even the
I'm
podcast.
not a member of the chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm against becoming one, but, I was more insinuating that since you guys will be there for you guys to handle that component, like, last week I went to, VIP broker event in Broward. So I made some people aware of blasting in Miramar because I interacted with a few colleagues in that, area. I wouldn't ask you guys to go to plantation and interact, you know what I mean? Like,
Everybody has
doesn't
their
necessarily
agenda,
make
but
sense,
depends,
but-
of course.
Right. So, I love that everybody's so quick to nominate, other members in the board, but I think we can all own a little
course.
component of it, I mean, I don't know if I'm available that day. I can definitely check. I have nothing against attending, but if I can't make it, can I
We'll be
depend
there,
on,
of course. Well, I was, so wherever I go,
okay,
including the Greater Miami Chamber, wherever I go,
okay.
and they'll tell you.
So since
Rudy
you know
Clark was
this-
there representing the town, and he's here for blasting, and he's here for economic development, there's
Okay,
no question about that, and you're right. Everybody, I think, should put a little grain of salt, a little bit of their time to spread the word. And get this thing leaked
so
once and for
if
all.
flyers is the best way in that specific
Yeah,
event.
because
then
many
I
people
would
have come
just
from
print-
outside, and you could put it, we have a table outside, right there to us,
Oh, and maybe we can even take the pull-up banner if you want.
whatever. Absolutely.
There's a lot of different things that are put on the table that people take. and
Exactly,
you
you will
know.
take them.
That's great.
You will take them. A lot of people come from outside, not only from Miami Lakes, from other areas.
Mhm.
That's good.
Good. Anything else for discussion on awareness, anything else, any additions? If not, we'll move on, okay, to new business, one little item. On the budget, on the budget, I think. We had to read that, it'll stay the same, I think it's 7,500. I think we mentioned once, I think 7,000 for travel, if necessary, and then 500 for marketing. But I think that's how, if I remember correctly,
Intent in bringing up the topic.
right. and
No,
rights.
were we going to discuss that now? We're able to utilize some of the funds for other things.
To move from travel to
So two different things. One is that the money had to be moved. I don't think they've done it yet because I don't see it on your budget report, but they will. And that was for the
Marketing
items that you
stuff.
guys
The
purchased.
promo item.
But no, what I had
Marketing items,
Yeah.
marketing.
But I had sent you guys an email about a month ago that we're in budget. We're in budget season and that I do need a budget from you guys to submit to the finance office in terms of like what you guys are asking for. And I think this is where I may have mentioned that if you are planning for anything new for next year, this is the chance to do it.
Was June 17th, the deadline.
Yeah, the deadline was really last week, but if you guys can get it to me tonight, then I can put it in.
but the amount's it's the same.
It's the same, it's 7,500.
Well, that's what I can't assume that. I need direction from the committee on what the proper vote is.
No, the amount of our budget, our.
For next year?
Our cap budget, yeah.
I can't tell you that because that's council will decide. That's why I'm asking you guys, what is your request to council?
Oh,
That's essentially what I need from you guys.
Yeah.
I was under the assumption that was what was allocated to us and.
So,
No, we could ask for more.
I mean, you can always ask for more. I don't
Yeah.
know what they're gonna give you guys, but
Okay.
But we don't know what, they're gonna give us, and since there's a cost issue with blasting.
Right.
If all this goes through and so forth, I don't know
That is your
how much.
budget.
I guess where the
But I think that we had
miscommunication
it
for
for
mine.
500 for marketing and then 7,000 for travel and expenses if I need
Sorry, through the chair,
it. Go ahead.
the reason why I was confused was because last week I got an email from Miles saying that, you know how in the previous meeting, we talked about doing
the farmers.
the
market.
farmers
The
market,
farmers.
thanks, and also the food trucks event in PSN, and we had brought to
I think
the,
it's allowed.
to the table.
I'll clarify that.
Well, that's what I'm getting to, that we had discussed utilizing money
Right.
to do outreach events like that. Obviously, always taking priority with the town events that are free, right? But if we wanted to do other events like the PSN food truck, if it incorporated a cost, we wanted to know whether or not we could use our marketing dollars for that. So then I got an email from Miles saying that she did receive word that the BAP can use marketing funds to do community outreach at the PSN market. Just make sure, to bring the quote to the next meeting, which I do not have. But also that is going to factor here in the budget because we've always asked for 7,500. Last year we did $500 towards marketing or
Yeah.
something like that. Can't remember off the top of my head.
$500-600, yeah.
But are we gonna
700.
allocate a different component to these outreach programs? Because if we are, it would be good for IO to present it with everything in one place.
Well, yeah, like if there's any requests, again, for anything new or additional or just
Mhm.
extra funding. For any of these items that, again, if this is something you guys are gonna take on and let's say you're gonna do 10 of them, I don't know. That's obviously a cost that you weren't accounting for this year, so maybe you do need to request more about this. This is really not.
Reality absent on
This
this year.
Yes.
But I came back already,
I
okay?
doubt that it would necessitate that we go to Tallahassee twice,
Oh, yeah.
you know? I think, and I have no idea. I have no idea what is gonna come out.
Correct, I have no idea.
And it comes out of our budget or it comes out of where or what?
I know we had 7,500 over, that's what we had last time, so.
Right.
That's what you guys have for your
Right.
current year.
And for.
And when do you use it?
Yeah, you guys haven't really touched it.
Well, because we haven't
We
traveled.
haven't traveled. Okay.
And that our
Or-
money
or-
has always been exclusively
Very little,
for
like,
travel.
budget there, 7.
But like
Now,
I
last
was
time we
saying,
did use $6.99, look at the end of the pack, look at the end of the package. And it says it's
right, for the
$6.99.
marketing stuff that we just talked about, but I think what we should do is that if we don't anticipate spending 7,500 in travel, why don't we reallocate the money? Say, if the 7,500 is the total, we can say, I don't know, I'm gonna make up a number, $1,000 for promo materials. $1,000 for marketing, I don't know, $5,000 for travel,
Right.
I'm just speculating here, but. Maybe put money in buckets that we haven't put in money before, so that we could utilize it for that stuff. Cause before we were always confined to travel. But it doesn't seem like we're gonna travel,
Doesn't seem like it.
so why? Give up the money?
Um. Well, if we cut travel in half,
Mhm.
for argument's sake. That balance, then we could get the shirts that we've been trying to get forever and a day. I think to be apropos for now.
Let me ask you now, can we keep like the 75, let's say 7,500? Or like a general account, or do we have to, or do we have to, yeah.
Yeah, but we.
Or do we have to, or do we have to allocate it to it? We
You
have
guys
to,
have to allocate it.
that's what I thought.
But if we
Just like that
allocate, to give an example, if we
No, and
allocate
to be fair,
3,500.
it doesn't have to be, you know, every single thing you're gonna purchase, but general, like, what.
Right, it can't be like $7,500 for anything.
Yeah.
Right.
But if we take the 7,500 and we put $3,000 in uniform and $4,500 in travel. If we need to travel on emergency, can't we just pull from what we would have spent in one bucket and put it in the other one?
Yeah, you
Cover?
guys can always, as long as it's a bucket that's been approved before, which you guys have two, the travel and the marketing.
Okay,
That one. That's what we.
Now, anything over, however,
The amount is.
anything over 700, you have to go to council for
Council.
approval to move.
mm,
Which is
okay.
really, if you're able to, you
Move
wanna kind of
around.
allocate that from
Mhm.
the beginning.
Yes,
All the figures can be moved around and then.
Right, that's what I was saying, but if
Right.
it's over 700, which I'm assuming if you're gonna travel, it is gonna be over 700, then you have to go to council and get that approved, but.
Right.
Okay.
I mean-
Before you're able to travel, so that may not be the smartest thing to do if you guys are in a time crunch.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wouldn't move, a large amount of money out of the travel.
Right.
In case.
Just in
Right.
case.
just in case.
I was
Por
just
si acaso.
giving us
Sí,
speculation,
por si pasa.
yeah,
Right, and I think that's why we said, keep 7,000 travel last time, and 500 at least for marketing. That's what we,
I mean,
because I have it in my own notes, I have it in my own
Yeah.
notes. I don't know what, we have it.
I mean,
Well, man,
what are
At
your
least
things?
that is that,
Let's put numbers on it. What are you thinking for marketing wise?
because
We
I'll
got
need
the
to know now,
table,
now I'll
got the
need to know.
tablecloth, and we got the map.
we got a lot of the big costs out of the way, cause we got
Yeah,
the tablecloth,
right.
the banner and
The
that's, so that's nice that we don't have to factor that in now. But, you know, at the workshop, we gave away keychains and stuff like that, which were a hit. That we didn't have to pay for, the vendor
Donate.
donated to us. But little things like that can easily cost, you know, $500-600, so.
That's a lot.
Well, I mean, in an assortment of things, not one specific item, because there's usually minimums. So. I don't know, let's use a keychain as an example, maybe the minimum is 300. Even if it's $1 each, that's still $300.
Alright.
You know, plus the setup fee for the art, usually plus, well, we don't have to pay sales tax, so that's nice. So call it 350, and that would just be for one item, you know? So if we wanna do anything else in that realm, then we'd have to allocate a little bit more. Oh,
Like the gym is.
What are we even at, 1,000 for marketing? And 6,500 for travel, and so
I think that's fair,
I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable,
so,
I mean, we can.
So general promotional materials we're talking about?
Right, it's either marketing or travel and expenses, yeah, it's either. Those are really our two buckets of them.
Now specifically, what about like business cards?
I
Or,
think that's part of marketing.
I mean, we were able to get the
Bids
the name tags.
Tags.
Who did, so, and I know we've had this discussion before, so I wanna remind you guys.
Right.
Business cards, as far as council has given staff direction, has
To be
been
approved.
that we have Well, no, they design, there's one design for all the committees. I know that some of you were not happy with what you were given, so at that point, I think we talked about it. You guys have to go to council and make that request, and, you know, if we get council direction to do different, then that's fine, but as of right now, all we have is that generic one.
Don't think of it as business cards per se. I think that's a little, if we produce collateral, it can have our contact information on it.
Agreed.
It's the.
That's why you're here.
Okay, the budget, I'm gonna make a motion.
So, sorry, before you make your motion, if we are gonna do something like that. I mean, 1,000 might be a little tight, but we've done it with less, so.
Well, if we're gonna go into the assumption that 7,500 was what we had. Let's give, right, you know, let's get something approved so we can move it. If we moved $1,500 for marketing, for promotional
Here's
material.
early, we could ask for more,
And,
but I don't know if they'll give it more.
no, keep the same amount,
Keep the same amount.
7,500, but it's just, the allocation is what I'm
The
talking about,
allocation.
Barry. Cause I don't see us going to Tallahassee, as it was.
At least
Now,
now,
something may else come out,
right,
different story.
right.
So I don't see removing that
But I
item.
think if it does, it'll be the town's main budget, you know, main
I don't know. Right.
main area. I don't know either.
I don't know.
But I would even- I
How
would-
far are you guys in the trip to Tallahassee is gonna be?
Right.
We have no
depends
clue.
on-
We have no-
That's kind of like throwing up a dice. Okay, Rudy, you said 1,000. What do you think?
For marketing, I would put 1,500.
You think
1,500?
1,500. You're okay with
1,500,
1,500?
okay.
Magali, are you okay with 1,500?
Yes.
Okay,
Go for it.
so 1,500 is the winner for
And 6,000 for travel.
6,000 for travel,
Mhm.
that's the case.
I think that-
6,000
that's
for
more
travel.
than-
Okay, so doesn't somebody have to motion?
Yes, I wanna move the motion
So.
Six.
we
For our
are budget
budgets.
motion. Well, you.
to have 6,000, with my motion to amend the budget or have the budget for next year. Calendar year 2025 to 2026, $6,000 for travel and expenses, other expenses, and $1,500 for marketing and promotion.
I'll second.
Perfect, so
You know?
is everybody in favor?
Aye.
Everybody in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Motion passes.
So same final amount, like,
So 7,500 plus 15. And 6,000 for travel.
Yep.
Okay.
We are not, if you're not sure that we're gonna be going to travel and be able to travel anywhere. We got 4,000 before traveling. And now we're asking for 6,500, 6,000
No, we used to have 7,500 for travel.
Yes,
just for travel.
We just.
you have 6,500, but now.
It was 7,000 for travel. 500 with
Okay.
markets.
But that was the whole total budget,
Mm-hmm.
7,500.
Right,
It still is.
Right, the
So
total
that's
is
what we have.
7,500. We're not asking for more. They just put more in the marketing bucket.
Right.
Our
Yeah,
board,
since you probably will be traveling,
Yes, only.
but we don't know that, we don't know that, we don't, sure.
$500.
that's the case.
Once it's approved, allocated.
Right.
Then we don't need to ask,
Then we-
As long as you don't go over $700.
Correct.
no, it's already allocated to that. If we're asking for something
Am I
else.
correct?
well, they're allocating 6,000 to travel, so it doesn't matter if the travel's over 700. The 700 limit is for transferring money from one line item to another.
Mhm, right. Okay, so we can still transfer from the traveling if we need it to something else. As
To the
long as it's
marketing?
not, as long as it's not over 700.
Yeah,
Right.
or it could be over 700, you just have to go to council at that
You
point.
gotta go to
But-
council.
Not to go to
But
council,
not
to-
below 700.
Yes.
We don't set no
and in
Okay.
our case, we only have two bucket options, marketing
marketing,
or
For
travel.
traveling.
So the movement of the money can only happen between those two.
exactly.
But
Okay.
if it came to that, that would mean that we'd spend 1,500 plus 700. That's a good amount of money. I don't think we're,
No, it's a chunk.
yeah, it's a good chunk. So, okay. Awesome.
Okay. Anything else on the budget? I think it's fine. Next item, to close the budget, next item is, open discussion, and here we go. Let me start the open discussion, whatever it is. I think we need to strategize more than any other time now, more than ever. How do we push that deep? That this goes through and everything else, and we support the tenant. I think we should have, for three different entities or three different people. One is very important that the council mentioned to us is how do we get other municipalities to support us?
Mhm.
That's one. That's one bucket or one leg, if you wanna call it. I call it other council, other municipalities, engagement with them. Miramar, Doral, Hialeah Gardens, and it wasn't us, Josh, the mayor, presented, that was his main concern.
Yeah.
And Steven too, and we have too in the past. I think that's very important.
That was gonna be one of my concerns.
Correct, and that's a concern, and I think it's a, we need to address if they're gonna participate or not.
Mhm.
But we need to engage them, I really think,
And-
and there's many ways of doing it, directly to them. There's the Miami-Dade County League of Cities, there's a variety of ways, and other than about Dade County.
Now, the question then comes, is it our duty or is it from the council?
That's but I think it should be a combo.
Should be a combo because our council members are very emotional to already be actively working on it. But like I know Rudy is involved with the
Right.
Dade League of
The Dade
Cities.
League of Cities, every Dade League of Cities.
League of Cities.
Right, we want,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, like, you're asking whose responsibility? My personal opinion is that it should be everybody's.
It's a combo. yeah, I
And
think.
within each person's area, right? I think that goes to what you had said at the beginning about utilization of resources.
Yes.
So if his thing is with local elected officials and stuff like that, then, you know, that's kind of like your little
Yeah.
bucket or project, no?
Okay. Well,
For me, it's not, for me, it's fine. And we have to work with them because it's also important that the mayor goes or that the
Claro,
council people go, you know, because that
we need-
reinforces the whole idea.
Yeah, we need to get them engaged because.
You have to get them engaged.
This is gonna be an expensive litigation.
Yes,
Mhm.
And is Miami Lakes gonna be footing the bill?
That's-
It's not fair for everybody to benefit after that,
Exactly.
because this is not gonna be a cheap ride, okay?
I.
So not only municipalities, but communities.
Communities. Well, I'm getting there, I'm getting
You know,
there,
the community, which is the unincorporated area,
of course, of
where
course.
is the funding gonna come to help
Miami-Dade
these
County,
communities?
Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade County,
Miami-Dade
County.
County, we need to get
the
everybody.
mayor involved,
So,
of course, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's gonna put a really
That's what
strong
I'm saying.
burden in the Miami Lakes taxpayers.
So that's a
Okay,
big,
their taxes are gonna go up the roof.
so that's a big leg, that's a big strategic area that I think we should focus on and engage. Second, are other organizations. The chambers have to work, the chambers have to promote it, Doral Chamber, the Miami Lakes Chamber, the Greater Miami Chamber. Because this affects businesses, it affects everybody, and they have a strong voice. And a letter from a Greater Miami Chamber or a letter from Ray Palacios or a letter from Manny Sarmiento or anybody else goes a long way. Because we don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know that every little paper helps. Every little recommendation helps, every little effort helps. And that's how it is. I call to arms. I don't like that.
To me,
And it has-
Miami-Dade County has a huge.
The Greater Miami
involvement
is humongous.
in
No,
this.
would
And
they
I'm gonna work,
participate?
and I'm gonna
Would
work.
The question is, would they participate?
That's,
Because I don't think they will.
we'll find out.
Okay, and then who's gonna be for the bill?
No, but I understand that.
Back to the council. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to work on convincing these entities because it's
Yes.
unfair to automatically assume
That
that Miami Lakes is gonna take all the care. It's impossible.
This.
Right.
We need to find.
I think to my.
They know, believe me, they know.
We should make that a
Yeah,
priority
builders.
in our
I
awareness
think it's a
campaign.
priority, I'm sorry. If
Yeah.
the council took the step to do it, then we need
We need to.
to get support from municipalities,
Correct.
communities, state, county, whoever
Correct.
it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because
I think
it's
they're
not
out.
fair, it's,
Doral and Miramar and Hialeah Garden,
They're guarded.
they don't do any, Hialeah Garden
Doral.
it stays mute. Everything.
Okay, so, but
But
inspection out of our effort,
oh, you know it.
but this is my point, guys,
But
okay?
we at least have to try. I understand the point Magali's trying to make is that just how we are trying and we've been successful in getting more more community members to come out and complain. We can also hone in on that specific area of people. Because at the end of the day, residents of Doral, Miramar, and
It's affected by
unincorporated
it.
Dade County is affected, and to our benefit, the most complaints come from unincorporated Dade County. So what better way to prove it to the mayor that she needs to get involved? Now, I know that in the past, okay, her office has been involved, she sent
Right.
certain PIOs to our meetings.
Right.
They were at one point very involved, and little by little they pulled out. Their intense participation. But let's strategize on how we can put something
Yes.
together to bring them back to the table, because it's just a matter of reconnecting those dots too. Tomas is no longer with the mayor's office, but we got assigned to the
I
other
thought he-
lady.
I thought he was
What's
the
his-
chief of staff or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's the chief of staff?
What are you talking about? Oh,
But he's
okay.
not our
He was-
liaison. Our
right.
liaison is
Right.
the young lady. I can't remember her name right now.
It's,
Andrea,
Urrea Guzman.
Andrea,
Andrea.
Andrea,
Yes.
Andrea, Andrea,
Right.
she was in our luncheon last month, in the chamber luncheon.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I mean, look, that's somebody we can automatically rekindle the spark with. So how are we going
And,
to?
well, then finally,
Good point.
third leg of this,
Okay,
our residents are people. The homeowners associations, the residents themselves from every municipality, they have them here. Here they are in public comments. Those people, obviously, we need for them to participate
Yeah.
when we call to arms, that they show up. In council, wherever it is, in Miami-Dade County. That's the other leg. We need the public, we need the businesses, schools. Everybody who's affected is that other arm that we have to strategize and get it on board.
Councilman Moreno requested a preliminary budget,
That's
for the next meeting.
for the next meeting.
It would be good to see, to substantiate what numbers are we talking about?
Yeah.
I think that'd be an excellent thing to obtain.
Now, my only question mark, I have one. Our state legislators, how they feel about the town of Miami Lakes going up against the state. I don't think Fabrizio will have any issues with it. I don't think so. He's been fighting for it, and he knows, hasn't
You can
happened.
take a rest after this.
But I don't know how the feeling is. Exactly. I don't know how they feel. I don't know. I'm gonna approach some of them. Vicky Lynn Lopez, Mike Redondo. I don't know how our senator will feel, Brian Avila. I don't know what reaction they will have. I gotta go find out. Sooner
I think,
than later.
I think it'll parallel.
Because
what we
they've
found.
been silent.
Yeah.
It's been silence, and it was everywhere. The articles were published everywhere. Florida Politico, Florida, everywhere, Law Weekly, it was everywhere. It was everywhere.
I think we're trying to fry too many fish at once.
Probably.
So can we focus on one that we can work on from now until the next meeting, and then we can maybe have some type of.
I'm gonna work on the first leg, which is the other municipalities and other, because we need
Is
that.
there any way that
And
we can,
everybody will get involved.
by we, I mean me, on the marketing side, how I can support in that? Is there something that you wanna put together? Are you gonna use
Yeah, but
existing
always-
marketing material?
What we've used before, but now with the legal angle
Okay,
being spread, and we could talk with Steven, how he would want to approach that. Because there's always litigation issues and what can be said and not be said,
Of
and
course.
so forth. So we have to, clarify that, with them,
okay.
so. I'll be in
So
touch with
you'll
them
work
and
with
everything else.
Steven on-
Are you,
Yeah.
possibly go through Lorenzo
Also too. Definitely,
now that they're engaged?
definitely. Definitely. He may say, just present it and don't say anything, don't show anything, I don't know. Could be.
Hmm.
But at least, that's what I think. Strategy wise, because I know we talk about that.
Who repeated, my main concern, it's the financials for my NLEX.
Right,
Because
Well,
we are taking a huge burden with
Yes.
this.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So.
Anybody
what's
else,
the task?
any other suggestions? I think we should, strategize for our next meeting. Now that we've opened it up,
What do you mean we're strategizing? I'm
uh,
sorry, you lost me.
now that I've brought it up, or we brought it up for the next meeting, come up with approaches or ideas as to how to approach each one of these legs, or whatever else you have, I don't think, if you guys have any open discussion, you mentioned utilization and so forth. Maybe expand on that.
No, the more
What I-
important than that, Rudy, is what is the council
Would you?
gonna do to engage all those municipalities and communities and everybody else
That's my
to
question,
help,
but that's been hers.
bring this to reality.
He's been spearheading that, very well, but, I think it's been unsuccessful. Not unsuccessful, it hasn't been effective, completely. So I know that.
Who has been doing that?
Hirschberg, Stephen
Oh,
Hirschberg.
Stephen, okay.
I know they went down to Homestead, Miramar, Doral, Hialeah Gardens. These are all affected municipalities.
Yeah, but I don't think Miramar has even, they haven't gone to the meetings for a long time. They're totally separated and their community, Riviera Isles is all broken.
It's destroyed.
It is destroyed, it's all
is-
destroyed.
Really bad.
I know. Tell me as a realtor, I don't wanna hear anything there.
I know you.
I have friends that live there and every time I go down. Yes,
The first time that I showed a house, and that was, many years back, and beautiful house, marble floors, and the opening was
And the
like
marbles
that.
cracked open.
They cracked from front to end. Okay,
So Rudy, you had said that we bring what to the next meeting?
Just
Trying to
your
figure out
ideas,
what
just your-
our
Just your
tasks.
ideas, anything that you think, from those three, legs that I mentioned. Any ideas that you might have, or and any suggestions that you might have as to how to approach those municipalities, how to approach the chambers, how to approach
I mean, I
entities.
feel like we discussed a
And
lot
part
of
of,
different
and part of the
ideas.
awareness campaign is part of all this,
I think
obviously.
more than thinking of ideas from now to the next
Yeah,
meeting,
sure.
I think we should be working on a thing
I think.
before our next meeting.
Sure.
I don't know what that thing is, I'm just.
Me
thinking of
neither.
it, right?
I'm in that boat too, so. About a strategy, a plan, some type of. I just gave you like the three legs that I think we should approach. And, I'm definitely gonna approach the municipalities and reach out to people that we know, the mayor of Doral, everybody, Miramar, everybody that we.
Rudy, I think it's a job for our mayor and our council.
There's no doubt.
Regardless
We,
in
their
this,
participation
they-
is crucial. No, there's no doubt.
how we're gonna handle this,
and
okay?
You're
Absolutely.
saying that they need to tell us how to handle it?
we need to work together.
They need to handle it.
Oh,
Amongst themselves.
Okay, but it needs the support of the community, don't take me wrong.
Right. And we'll do whatever we can, at the same time.
so why don't we just invite one of the members to our next meeting, so that way we can discuss this, because I feel like, what are we gonna do in the meantime?
You will be the main person. You will be the main
We need
person
to go.
right?
And
See what he suggests. There we go. Anything else for open discussion? I know you guys have utilization, or anything else, Miguel, anything else?
No, I mean, we touched on everybody's.
Let's have what. Anything else? Okay, if not, we close open discussion, still next time.
Still understand. I'm so sorry. My God is gonna be doing it, the real, the chamber, what was it?
Yeah, the chamber, the Memory Chamber.
And you
I may not be on the next meeting on the chamber. Okay, but I suggest that,
But I will.
but the papers
always-
would be put on the table.
Oh, of course,
And if you're gonna be there, Rudy, you
Yeah.
can touch on that.
of course.
Do you guys have a open discussion there where you could actually talk? Cause the papers, people sometimes pick it up, they don't understand it or they.
We have, for members of the chamber, we have, a highlight that they come and they talk about whatever they need to do.
That's changed a lot, but I think I could at the end, before lunch is over. I can come up and say something. I'll have that discussion with
Can we
Ray
get
Palacio.
maybe Stephen Herzberg to go and be just an ad lib speaker at the next chamber luncheon? Give him 5 minutes to discuss what.
An important issue, sure.
Yeah, I. think
I'll do
it
that, I'll do
works. I
that.
think it works,
I'll
okay?
get, I'll do that. I'll talk to Ray or the president of the chamber and I'll have that. I could do it.
And have one of the elected officials,
So, which he usually show,
yeah,
at least
There is
or
usually
even
one
Alex Sanchez, Alex. Alex,
attends some-
great, anyone, all three or all four. But I'll have,
I think that
that's
would
my
be,
program.
that'd be huge.
July 9th, that would be great.
mhm.
And you have a great concert, I'll have a lot of people. I know you're gonna have a lot of people. So,
Is there any other, anything else going on for July 9th?
not that I know, not that I know where.
Well, July
That's a-
9th.
that's- That's a tough one, because you have the fourth.
The calendar.
So here's another one that's great.
The meeting-
At the 4th of July event. We could have a place, I don't know, how, can we have anything at the 4th of July? Yeah.
Yeah, just let me know if you guys are gonna be there, so we can have a time.
Right.
Everything.
You could have a tent, or you could have a space, I think, or.
Well, I say 10 because I would put you where the rest of the sponsors
There you
go. I would send her there.
You can get us a tent.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have it.
then we could have a keychain, you could have flyers,
Calendar.
it's big, no, thank you for mentioning that. Thank you, man. July 4th, if you're gonna be here for the
That's a
MAs.
huge event.
That's a huge event. Everybody comes to that from all of South Florida, it's not just
There's
Miami.
still time to get a table there?
Yeah, I'm the one organizing it.
She's the one organizing.
That's fine.
Hey,
So I'm telling you, just let me know and make sure what I don't wanna do is put up a tent and then you guys are using up the space for
Right,
whatever reason.
Right, because
because
you're
it
gonna have
looks
somebody else.
Ugly, you know, like, to not have.
But it's a full tent, or we share a tent with another committee?
No, I can get you a tent.
then with a table, with a table.
But I just need to know so I can
Right.
organize with the people that.
So how about, before we move on to other things, how about we confirm who is in town for 4th of July? Because a lot of people travel for 4th of
Correct.
July.
That's-
Are you in town?
Yeah, I might be in town, might not.
Okay.
I don't
so
know.
Rudy's out of the question. Magali, will you be?
I'm not gonna be.
You will not be in town. Miguel, will you be here?
I'll be in town.
You'll be in town. Francesca, unfortunately, will be in town. So, 4th of July,
I guess
no
you would think
vacation.
that's what you're saying.
Miguel and Francesca stuck at the tent.
Wait, vote on
You
it.
know, we gotta talk to War, anyway,
The keys.
listen,
Uh,
we gotta talk to War, to Monticello and the other people, we gotta talk to Monticello and War.
So there's some assets now, there's not enough time, we won't have another
We
meeting.
won't have another meeting before, right?
Right.
Okay, so I guess let's start that conversation. Would we like to have a subcommittee meeting to discuss the 4th of July and vote on things, or you wanna do it right now?
I'll put it right now.
I'll put it right now. I don't know where that went.
Okay, I have never been to this event because I usually go on vacation.
No, I don't,
So.
I've been, and
Town
Tell me
biggest
like
event.
a quick snippet. No, I know it's a town
The
biggest event.
event-
We get a
It
tent.
officially starts at 6:30. However, you can be in the sponsor area starting at 3 PM if you like. We ask all sponsored tents to be ready by 5 PM, like, showtime, go time. But again, the event officially starts at 6:30 and it runs until about 9:15 or 20.
that's when fireworks start at
At
9,
that point, that's it. Total breakdown.
The event ends at 9:15.
9:15,
Yeah.
right after the fireworks,
Yeah, because the fireworks start at 9.
correct.
However, it is a really big event and a big family town event, so, you will have a lot of people that start coming in from way earlier than 6:30, kind of
That's huge.
claiming their spot on the.
There's
river.
food trucks, there's
Yeah,
everything,
and the food trucks
there's.
are gonna start selling about 2 or 3, I don't remember right now.
Usually.
So, it draws people before they're. The event is rain or shine.
I think just.
I mean,
giving
usually
pictures
when-
out-
Cultural affairs, right, cultural affairs.
Yeah.
Felicita, felicita, no, felicita.
Getting there.
Francesca, Francesca, felicita.
2 years.
Cultural affairs.
No, I know, but since we're going to discuss it, I needed to at least know what to expect and what needs to get done.
I mentioned
You
felicita.
guys are next to the sponsor tents are near like one of the food areas, which is
Okay.
good because we have good traffic.
Right,
As long as you keep the
You
mosquitoes.
get about 9,000 people. So, a big town.
And then, and we would
And-
provide the
and-
table, like we could put a
I'll
table,
come to you.
chairs for you and a
I'll come
table,
to
so
you.
you guys
Usually
bring your, exactly, bring your tablecloth and any goodies, marketing.
Oh, you cover stuff. but
Oh,
I'll
okay,
pick
then
it up
it's,
prior.
yeah, yeah.
I'll pick it up prior
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it. Okay, so that being said, are we going to print anything for it? Are we going to have any promotional materials ready for
We should
Fourth of
have
July?
flyers printed.
The flyers.
Okay.
We do that in-house. I would recommend, or could recommend to have the keychains. Those were
Yeah,
a pretty
correct.
nice hit.
yeah,
Um,
Well, people love freebies.
yeah,
And,
people are freebies, yeah.
What if
for
we
the chamber
do-
también, no?
This
Los
is kind
flyers.
of crazy.
Well, the chamber. Is the chamber gonna be part of it?
No, no, no,
I think,
for the luncheon.
Can we do like
No,
some-
for luncheon,
so we
yeah,
can just
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about this on
The
the-
flyer for the
I have to
luncheon.
look.
yeah, for the luncheon too.
do we have money set aside?
5 days after
Yeah, but
the
you have
4th
to
of
vote,
July.
it's on money.
What, right, and what item is it?
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to, but if I'm making the motion, I can't write it down. ¿Cómo es la cosa? Everybody-
Yeah, you can.
You can write it down. You can't write it down, he's the chair.
I mean, it makes it harder for you, but yeah, you.
Okay, I'm making a motion to allocate
Okay.
$250 of our budget
Mark,
for the 4th of July event. I am also going to include in that motion that I produce collateral specific to getting more community engagement.
Want to set aside anything for the luncheon on the 9th?
Wait,
Thank
hold
you.
on, give me
Hold on,
one at
yeah.
a time. I'm not a very good secretary.
Okay.
So 250 for allocated to the budget for that specific event.
Mhm.
And Miguel and I will be attending. If you can
Is
email.
there?
For anybody else.
That's a motion, right?
Right.
That could
that's
be-
my
that's
motion.
but second.
Second,
So-
discussion, Miguel.
Discussion, anybody else? I think we got that.
Second,
Everybody in favor?
I,
Aye.
unanimous.
For the luncheon, I'll be there, so that's my responsibility too. At least get the 5 minutes in for the speakers.
Okay,
Right.
and then you'll work on getting.
I'll get the speaker, Steven, whoever.
Plus you funding that, cause if not, this is the time to, oh, okay.
I was gonna say that.
Well, I don't
Maybe
know if
put-
it's-
maybe we need flyers, whatever flyers,
The-
make copies.
We don't have money for everything.
I-
For luncheon, printed flyers from Iowa is good.
There you go. But let's say so we don't, so I guess we go. Okay, everybody in favor?
Aye.
I too,
I don't think.
in favor, passes.
Motion for what?
Motion, there was no motion.
What motion?
We have 250?
Why did I write it down?
Anybody.
Oh, for that one, you guys have already done it.
It was unanimous. It was
what's
unanimous.
your name?
The motion for the 250
They're
for
just
4th
trying
of
to
July.
confuse you.
I know, just.
What time are they supposed to be there?
I need you guys set up by 5. But that doesn't mean.
As early as 3 and.
But you can go as early as 3.
I'll be there at 5:30 to set up my table, and I asked for you guys.
She's called for affairs, so.
What happened to the farmer's market?
They moved it, it's great,
The tomato lane.
they moved to, Bull Run Road, it's on the north side. I went, you opened it up, you had a grand opening. It was good.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys just have to let me know. We have
You
to
gotta let-
coordinate
you
that
gotta
with the organizers for that.
Yeah.
So just let me know in advance and.
The next farmer's
Farmer's
market,
market.
I don't know when it's gonna
It's
take
every
place.
Saturday.
Every Saturday, Sundays too or not, or just Saturday?
Oh, just Saturday.
Saturday.
Usually from 10 to 5.
Okay, next Saturday, is somebody attending this? The farmer's market? Somebody
You gotta get,
not gonna be here?
is there a tape?
You can, yeah, she connected me with the event planner that does the farmer's market, and we can always get a table as long as we notify them.
Oh.
Yeah, as long as we have somebody to man the table. I can't do it this Saturday, but if somebody else can, we're more than happy to help them. So this week's farmer's market off the table? Nobody can go. Okay, perfect. Somebody said about the events happening here?
And then next week is the 4th, so.
Y en otra parte, on another side of the paper, you have all the committee meetings
Right,
of the town, okay?
so I think the 4th and the 9th, we cover that, those are big events, big, those be very big, the 4th and the 9th. Okay? Anything else? If not, motion to adjourn.
You need the paper?
Second,
It's the April one.
everybody in favor?
Ah, bueno, quiero que me. Se estaba aquí en la mesa.
When's the next meeting?
The next